quickly, you have a brother called Chijioke, isn't it?
Yes.
And for how long now have you not seen your brother?
It's been 12 years.
12 years.
12 years by November.
What happened to Chijioke?
Chijioke was arrested by the police in Anambra State, and when we got the call that they were, because it wasn't just him, they had gone for a child dedication ceremony, and so when we got the call that he was arrested, my mom went to the station at Ajali police station in Anambra State to effect his bail. When she got there, they told her that she can't effect bail because she was a woman, and so it was, she just can't pay for his bail or get him released. So she had to call my uncle because my dad was already angry that Chijioke slept out that night. So
how old was he 12 years ago?
20 years.
He was 20 years old at the time.
Yes. So
he was arrested by the police and he was detained by the police.
Yes. So my mom called my uncle to come help her bail my brother out. While my uncle was on the way, the police station in Ajali said they got a call from Okuzu SARS in Anambra to send everybody that is in their custody. So the boys, all of them were transferred to Okuzu SARS. So my mom called my dad and said, this is not something that I can do on my own. It's now involving SARS. Okuzu SARS has called for their transfer. So my dad rushed to the station, to the Okuzu SARS.
What day of the week was this?
This was on a Friday.
On a Friday.
Yes.
So what day did they transfer them?
It was on Friday that they were transferred.
They transferred on the same day?
They were arrested on Thursday and then transferred on a Friday.
So he slept over on Thursday, the night on to Friday,
yes.
And they were transferred to SARS.
Yes.
He was detained in a normal police cell,
yes,
but transferred to SARS custody.
Yes. So when
still in Oka?
No. Ajali is a town in Anambra, and Okuzu is another town in Anambra.
How long? What's the distance between these two towns?
It's quite a distance, maybe like an hour.
Okay.
So they were transferred. So my dad, from Oka to Okuzu is quite close. So my dad just went to Okuzu to meet with them to know what is happening. My mom drove there to meet him. When they got in, they met the officer in charge, the OC of SARS, that is James Nwafor. And he denied having anybody being sent to the station or having any people being transferred to the station. So he told my parents that they can go, but they can come any other time and see if the boy was there. But like at this moment that the boys were not there, my mom assured him that she was told by the police in Ajali that they're transferring these boys to your station. And so she was quite sure.
How many were there?
There were 4 boys that were arrested.
That were arrested.
So,
for what offense was your brother arrested for?
So the Ajali police station told my mom that they were arrested for making noise. They had been playing loud music in a compound where they were doing the child dedication. So somebody had reported the noise of the young boys and they were arrested. That was the answer we got from Ajali police station. Then they were sent to Okuzu, which was a shock to everybody. Like, why are they moving them? But it was a normal thing to do in Anambra State as at then, I would want you to know. Between the time of 2010 to 2014 in Anambra State, it's normal for anybody to be taken to Okuzu SARS for any reason. But
so just for any reason, they take you to Okuzu?
Yeah. But it's also very important to know that when your loved one is at Okuzu SARS, you can't sleep. Because the chances of the person returning alive is quite low, very, very low. Okuzu SARS was known for killing young people in Anambra State during that period.
The police officers in Okuzu were notorious for allegedly killing extrajudicially innocent people who are in their custodies.
Yes. And this is something that is easily verifiable. When the panel of inquiry was set up in Anambra State after the NSAS was violently shut down, they had over 100 cases at the panel, all of them pointing at what happened between 2010 and 2014 in Anambra State, all pointing at James Nwafor, who was the officer in charge in Okuzu SARS, all of them pointing at people losing their loved ones, never being charged to court for any reason. These people never had an opportunity to defend themselves of any crime, just arrested by Okuzu SARS and killed. So my parents went there when they were told that the boy was
This was a
there.
Saturday?
Yeah. No, this was on a Friday.
Oh, see that Friday?
That Friday. Great. So my parents went there and they told that the boy was not transferred. As they were leaving the station, my mom saw the boys being led in. And so she raised the alarm and said, this is the boy I'm looking for. This is actually the boy we are looking for. This is him.
So they saw him?
Yeah, they saw him and they were in cuffs. they were in cuffs. So my mom started shouting at him, Chijioke, what did you do? Why are you here? What did you know? And James Nwafor came out of his station and said that they should throw them out. Like they should throw my parents out.
Who is this James Nwafor?
He was the officer in charge then.
In Okuzu SARS?
Yes. He has now retired. So when my parents were thrown out, they came home and everybody was like, you can't sleep. You have to go back. Because if you waste any time, this boy might die. Right? So they went back on Saturday. They were not even allowed into the station. The police collected money from them and said, we are going to feed the boy.
How much was it?
A couple of thousands. They were always taking money from them to feed the boy. I was a teenager then. I was not even involved in all of this because they were.
So Chijioke was your older brother?
Yes, he's my elder brother. So they
so
were shooting.
You probably immediate brother?
Yes, he was my immediate elder brother. So they were shooting all of us from it, right? Trying to be adults about this. So they went on Saturday. They were not allowed in. My mom cooked on Sunday, took it to the station, gave them. And then on Monday, my parents went back and they said they want to see the OC. Since you're not allowing us to see the boy, at least let's see the OC and know the next course of action. And then they got in, they met with James Nwafor and tells him, please, sir, we've been trying to see this boy since he was brought here, but we've not been able to. So we want to know what is the next course of action. My parents are willing to pay money if that was what was necessary, right? This man looked my parents dead in the eye and told them, I have killed your son. No, he said, if it's those boys that you came to see, I've killed them and there's nothing we can do about it. You are too late. This is literally less than 72 hours of them being sent to Okuzu SARS. How did you kill them? My mom, of course, slumped immediately. My dad couldn't believe it. So he stood there and was asking him, so what are you saying? He said, no, it's too late. There's nothing we can do. People should leave my office. So they had to take my mom to hospital. They came back home and friends came around and were like, maybe he just wants you to offer money. Did you people even offer money when you went there? You're just asking questions. So my dad had to sell our land and take money in a bag. And that was the first time I'm seeing millions of naira in my life. It was packed in a bag, 3 million, and went to meet him and said, please, man to man, I'm begging you, this money, take it and just give me my son. This was like a couple of weeks after, right? So we sold this land urgently. It was not at the worth of the land. And this man said, this money is too small. It's too small, but even if it was enough, I said that the boy is dead and there's nothing we can do about it and stop disturbing me, right? And so my dad came back a broken man and we started going through human rights organizations, lawyers. Lawyers will take money from you and say they are going to take the case to court and then they get threatened and they say they can't take the case to court anymore. They are scared of this man. He was a terror. So this continued until my parents were like, okay, so let's leave everything to God. In 2013, January 2013, we got information that there were dead bodies in the Ezu River in Anambra State, that there were dead bodies were dumped by the police. Right? My parents went there. All of us did. But because women can't go into the river, we were up. My daddy went into that river and was turning those dead bodies one by one to find my brother. And he was not part of them. So we all had hope that he's alive and maybe this man is just lying. But it continued year in, year out. We kept on trying to get him, trying all our best, reaching out to everybody that we know, all the contacts that they had then. Nothing came out of it up until now. And that was why when I finished school and I came to Abuja for my NYSC, in 2019, I started to speak out about it. Because for a long time, everybody in Anambra told us, you can't talk about this. You can't say it publicly. He will track you to your house. He will kill you. But then I was no longer in Anambra. I was far from him, and I felt safe enough to speak out about it. So in 2019, I made the tweet about it. And then I saw him on Twitter as James Nwafor. So I quoted his tweets, and I called him out. I said, you are not good enough, a police officer, to be asking people to join the police force. So I detailed what had happened to my brother and everything. And he replied, funny enough, he replied, they said, oh, those boys were arrested for armed robbery. And there was exchange of fire and my brother died. How is there exchange of fire when my parents saw him alive in your custody? But even if my brother was Anini, even if he was the worst terrorist on earth, you have arrested him. He deserves his day in court. Why didn't you just take him to court? How did he die in your custody? It was a simple question, and he never did answer that question. So when NSAS started in Abuja, I was at the office. I heard that some people went on the protest and we were chased back by the police that Friday. And I started to join the protest. So I joined and led the protest in Abuja up until the time it was quelled in Lagos and all of us were scared for our lives. And I had to go back to Anambra State for the judicial panel. And that was it. I went to the judicial panel. That's a whole new problem on its own. My lawyer came from Abuja, Abdul Mahmoud. He was my lawyer then. He came from Abuja to Anambra. We went to the panel. And the police then says, okay, so yes, the police legal rep, his name is Innocent Obi. He says, yes, the boy was arrested. The boys were arrested. And then they were interrogated. And they confessed to being armed robbers. And in January 2013, which is a different story from what James Sanford says, right? In January 2013, they took them to their hideouts. And when they got to their hideouts, their colleagues opened fire on the police, and my brother was shot. And he was taken to Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Nnewi, and he died there. So my lawyer asked for the doctor to come and confirm if this is true. The doctor did not come. Okay, so if the boy is dead, where is the body? The least you can do is to release the body to the family. Nothing like that has happened. Nobody gave us an answer to that. I was hopeful at that panel that after the panel has sat, they would then release their findings to the public and maybe make a recommendation. Anything. I wanted justice. I was really quite hopeful. Everybody in my family was like, okay, this is the time that we might get justice for it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The NSAS panel, Judicial Panel of Inquiry in Anambra State, never released their findings. They never made it public. It was submitted to the governor, of course, and nothing came. No white paper was released. Nothing was said about it. And it just felt like everybody moved on, right? And this has been the path. We would have hope that something will happen, and then nothing happens. Last year, I started to do a one-person protest in Abuja myself because I was quite scared for people joining the protest. It was in July, which was ideally Chijioke's birthday. I was scared of doing the protest with people because a new government was just inaugurated. I don't know how they would react to a full-blown protest. I did a 10-day one-person protest in Abuja, and it led to my rep, Obi Orobu, taking my petition, finally like paying attention to me, of course, and taking my petition to the Public Petition Committee of the House of Representatives. In December last year, I was called to the committee. I went. The police did not come the first day. They came the second time of the hearing. They said that they did not have enough information. Bear in mind that between 2019, when I took over advocacy for my brother, to 2024, I've sent over 20 petitions. I got to a point, it felt like I was a lawyer writing petitions every other day. The police acknowledged receiving my petition via email. I sent them an email. On Twitter, the PRO acknowledged seeing my petition. They accepted that they saw it, but then at the panel, they said they didn't see my petition at all. They never got it even from the panel because I submitted at the panel too. So they were issued a new one. The next time the hearing came on, they also said that they don't have enough information to give any answer to my case. And so the panel mandated them to send the IG because this case has been on for so long. They want the IG to come and give an answer to this issue. And that was how the police stopped coming to the panel. I went, the last hearing was in April. The panel told me that they would get back to me on a new date. They've not given me a new date. The police never came to the panel. They never gave answers to this issue.
And the body of Chijioke has not been found
at all up till today.
And the hospital in which they said they took his body to, were you able to go to the hospital to find it?
So my parents
went to the hospital. It's in
Nnamdi Azikiwe Teaching Hospital. And the MD
is in Awka.
Is in Nnewi. In Anambra State. Yeah. The MD then was in 2020, right? Also said that like they never got anybody. But even if they did, he wouldn't even know because this happened in 2012 or 2013 as the police claimed. 7 years later, if they got a body, I don't know how they would have preserved it. But why the police then refused to give us access to Chijioke while he was in their custody is another issue. Why would you take someone who has confessed to a crime per se to the crimes to go and meet with these people? And how come it's only Chijioke that was shot in this shootout, and this never made any national dailies, even state dailies during that period? Nobody heard about this shootout that happened, and nobody else, the police did not succeed in getting his colleagues that were arrested.
Where are your parents now?
My parents are in Anambra State.
Can you describe to me what Chijioke was like? Your brother. What was it like? What was your relationship like with him?
Chijioke would tell people that I'm his twin sister. Like most people, he would tell them that I'm his twin. And many people did not know that he was older than me because of our closeness. But also, he's the second child of my parents. And, you know, firstborns have a little bit of pressure on them. Chijioke did not have that. He was very easygoing, very fun. He loved dressing up. His favorite thing is to buy new clothes or new shoes. That's one of the things he loved doing. And he also draws. And he has a very silly sense of humor. He was really, if I talk about him, I imagine him alive. I just imagine him smiling or making fun of someone. He's very bubbly, has a very warm personality. And that was why he kept on playing tricks on people about both of us being twins. If you ask him, say, oh, that's my twin sister, so you can't talk to her and all of that. He was really like very easygoing, and he had a lot of friends.
What was his ambition like? What did he want to become in the future?
He wanted to, if you ask him, he say he wants to be a businessman. And then he says, oh, he wants to go to school and study business administration. I kept on telling him that business administration, it doesn't necessarily mean businessman, but he wanted to be a businessman, buying and selling. Did
he ever get to the university?
He had written JAMB when this happened, and we didn't even bother checking his result or anything.
Because he was nowhere to be found?
Yeah. There was no need to check or see if he got admission.
How much did you miss Chijioke?
I am literally controlling myself to not cry. I love my brother to death. And that was why when everybody has moved on, I keep on pushing for it. That's why I did the protest, the one-person protest. It wasn't because it was fun. It wasn't easy sharing. I was under the sun and rain. It was in July. And you know Abuja's sun and rain and how it comes. I was under that sun with my placard. And people were passing me in front of National Assembly, looking at me with pity eyes, and yet I still have not gotten justice. That's how far I can go for him. That's how much I love him.
Do you imagine, for some reasons, maybe one day, maybe he's even alive? Do you imagine maybe somehow you might see him again, or maybe you might see his body? Is that what sometimes comes to your mind, flashes to your mind?
Honestly, sometimes generally, we want to believe that he's alive. In the back of our mind, as a family, we have not yet accepted that he's dead. At least my parents haven't. I've come to the conclusion that there is like 90% possibility that he's gone. I mean, the EndSARS protest was viral. If he was alive, his picture, his name was called several times during that protest. He could have, I felt like if he was alive, he would have tried to make contact with us or something. But I don't know. I don't know. But I imagine that if I see him alive, I would be very, very grateful. If we get his dead body, it will be closure for my family also. Because we need that closure more than anything, to know. The worst part is not knowing what happened.